In the year 64 AD, a massive fire swept through Rome. It destroyed large sections of the city and left people homeless and furious. Emperor Nero, who ruled at the time, built himself a new palace complex afterward called the Domus Aurea, the Golden House. It had gardens, pools, and even an artificial lake. But the people hated it. They saw it as a symbol of Nero's greed and madness. When Nero died a few years later, his successors wanted to erase his memory and give the land back to the people. So in 70 AD, Emperor Vespasian began construction of a huge amphitheater right on top of Nero's lake. It was meant as a gift to Rome, a place where the citizens could gather for games, festivals, and entertainment. That structure became the Flavian Amphitheater, better known to the world as the Colosseum. The name Colosseum likely came from a giant statue of Nero that once stood nearby, called the Colossus of Nero. Over time, the name stuck to the building instead of the statue, and it became a symbol not of Nero's vanity, but of Rome's greatness. The construction took around 10 years. Vespasian started it, and his son Titus completed it in 80 AD. It was built with astonishing speed for such a massive structure, and the reason it was possible comes down to clever engineering, organized labor, and a revolutionary material: Roman concrete. Roman concrete, or opus cementitium, was nothing like the modern cement we use today. It was made from a mixture of volcanic ash, lime, and seawater. The volcanic ash, called pozzolana, gave it unique properties. When mixed with water, it created a chemical reaction that allowed the concrete to harden even underwater and resist cracking over time. That's why Roman harbors, aqueducts, and temples have lasted for millennia. Modern concrete, by comparison, often begins to deteriorate within a century. Modern engineers have studied Roman concrete for years and still haven't perfectly replicated it. We know the ingredients, but the precise ratios and the chemical interactions within the volcanic ash are still being researched. Some scientists think the ancient concrete was self-healing, able to repair small cracks when moisture entered, reactivating the lime. This material formed the heart of the Colosseum. The outer structure, though, was built from travertine limestone, quarried from Tivoli, about 20 miles from Rome. The blocks were massive, weighing several tons each. Workers transported them along the Tiber River and into the city using ox-drawn carts and cranes powered by human and animal muscle. Each stone block was set in place without mortar, held together by metal clamps and precision cutting. The Romans used bronze or iron dowels to lock stones together, a technique that gave the structure flexibility as well as strength. In later centuries, those metal clamps were often stolen or melted down, leaving holes that are still visible in the walls today. The Colosseum's design was as clever as its construction. The entire structure could seat around 50,000 people, and they could enter and exit the building in just minutes, something even modern stadiums sometimes struggle to manage. This efficiency came from an intricate network of corridors, stairways, and numbered entrances known as vomitoria, which allowed crowds to spew out quickly after an event. From the outside, the building rose in 4 stories. The lower 3 levels were framed by arches, decorated with half columns in different classical styles: Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. The top level had small windows, and one supported enormous poles that held up a giant canvas roof called the Velarium. The Velarium was one of Rome's greatest technical achievements. It worked like a massive, retractable awning that shaded spectators from the sun. Sailors from the Roman Navy operated it, using a system of pulleys and ropes. The canvas could cover about 2/3 of the arena's seating area, and it was supported by masts and anchors around the perimeter. We still don't fully understand how the Romans managed to stretch and maneuver such a huge structure so efficiently. Beneath the Colosseum was another masterpiece of engineering, the Hypogeum, or underground complex. It was added after the original opening under Emperor Domitian. The Hypogeum was a maze of tunnels, cages, and elevators that brought animals, props, and gladiators up to the arena floor through hidden trapdoors. There were over 30 elevators, each powered by teams of men turning massive wooden winches. A gladiator could be lifted into the arena as if appearing by magic, or wild animals could burst from the floor during the games. This underground system turned the Colosseum into more than just a theater. It was a machine for spectacle. Shows there could feature mock sea battles, animal hunts, executions, and gladiatorial fights. For naval battles, ancient writers claimed the arena floor could even be flooded using channels connected to nearby aqueducts, though whether this was practical for the full amphitheater or just smaller demonstrations is still debated. The games themselves were brutal, but they were also carefully choreographed events. Everything, from the order of the fights to the music and the crowd seating, was controlled. The Colosseum was designed to impress and to remind everyone of Rome's might. The emperor would sit in a special box with the best view, while senators, soldiers, and common citizens had their own designated tiers. Even the lowest-ranking citizens had access to entertainment, reinforcing the idea that Rome cared for its people, at least in public image. So why can't we recreate the Colosseum today? Technically, we could build something that looks similar, but it wouldn't be the same. The materials, techniques, and craftsmanship used in the first century were unique. Modern concrete doesn't age like Roman concrete. It cracks and erodes. The travertine stone used in the original is expensive and difficult to quarry at the same scale today. And perhaps most importantly, the Romans built it almost entirely by hand. Tens of thousands of laborers, craftsmen, slaves, and engineers worked day and night, guided by experience, not digital blueprints. There's also the cultural difference. The Colosseum wasn't just a stadium, it was a political and social statement. It was built to unite the empire under spectacle, to demonstrate control over nature and man. Its construction reflected the power of centralized authority and the belief that Rome could shape the world as it pleased. Modern societies don't build monuments quite like that anymore. Another mystery is the durability of Roman mortar and stonework. Many of the Colosseum's walls remain standing despite centuries of earthquakes, lightning strikes, and neglect. The Romans used an intricate system of arches and vaults that distributed weight evenly throughout the structure. Each arch supported the next, forming a web of balance that allowed the entire building to flex instead of collapse. Modern architects have studied this system, and while we can replicate the geometry, the materials and techniques that made it last so long remain partly unexplained. When medieval Rome fell into chaos, much of the Colosseum stone was stripped away and reused for churches, palaces, and fortifications. Yet even after losing nearly 2/3 of its mass, the structure still stands. That strength has baffled engineers for generations. Today, restoration teams use drones, laser scanners, and 3D modeling to study every inch of the amphitheater. They've discovered traces of ancient paint, graffiti, and even the remnants of the pulley systems used below the arena. Some restorations have reinforced the foundations, but the core of the structure, the Roman concrete and stone, remains original. The Colosseum has survived earthquakes that flattened other Roman buildings. It has survived looting, pollution, and time itself. Modern engineers could copy its appearance, but to truly replicate its endurance would require rediscovering the chemistry and craftsmanship that the Romans mastered 2,000 years ago. Its endurance also comes from its symbolism. For nearly 2 millennia, people have looked at it as a reminder of both human achievement and human cruelty. It represents ingenuity, but also the spectacle of violence that defined Roman entertainment. The Colosseum still teaches lessons today. It shows how architecture can shape culture, how design can control crowds, and how materials matter more than we often realize. It also reveals how much knowledge has been lost over time. For all our modern technology, there are still secrets buried in the concrete and stones of ancient Rome that we haven't fully unlocked. If the Romans built the Colosseum to prove that their civilization would never fall, they succeeded, at least in memory. Empires have come and gone, but the Colosseum remains. Its arches frame the modern world while whispering of the ancient one that created it. And maybe that's why we can't recreate it, because it's not just a building, it's a moment in history frozen in stone, a product of a civilization that believed its works would last forever. If you found this story about the Colosseum fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the engineering, history, and mysteries of the ancient world. Every monument has a story, and there's still so much more to uncover.